That's right. It is the post-game show as the Flyers come away with a 4-2 win over the Los Angeles Kings. Didn't see this one coming. And, boy, dare I say, kind of the resurgence in play lately, Bri, has been shorthanded goals.
Yeah, specifically what I did not see coming was that power play at the end of the third period ending up the way that it did. It's something that really has kind of been discovered, hasn't it, here in this season with the way the Flyers are attacking on the penalty kill. They had been putting Konechny out there with Scott Lawton. Travis Konechny had never killed penalties before, and it kind of gave them a bit of a new weapon there. But it wasn't that unit that was on for this goal; it was the other one. And so I know they just kind of picked it up by osmosis or something like that. But this was again we'll talk about it here in the highlight. But Noah Cates comes up there and just sits down and has lunch. I mean, he's just so patient, waiting for something to develop. And then once he sees an opportunity with Patrick Brown providing the screen, he just takes advantage of it. It takes a little bit of confidence in your penalty kill to do something like that. And obviously the Flyers have been able to pick that up through what Konechny and Lawton have been leading them down, but it seems to have spread now here through the rest of the team. So it definitely is a bit of a unexpected source of energy for this team this year.
Yeah, and offense, a team that sorely needed it. I mean, they put up 4 today, and they get an empty netter. But the thing is this is what Torts, I think, talked about the other day and mentioned that Bradshaw preaches when it comes to killing penalties, is aggressive. We know Torts goes, I'm okay if you make mistakes trying to be aggressive, trying to make a play happen. And usually on a PK, you're going to get it up to the line, you're going to chip it deep, you're going to say, okay, now you got to go 200 feet. Mm-hmm. But 2 guys jump into the play, Patrick Brown and I think Tony DeAngelo, and they get up the ice to cause all the traffic there, which gets them the goal. And that's in a really aggressive play on a PK in a tie game on the road to boot. And that's their 7th shorthanded goal of the season. I can't remember the last time they had 7 shorthanded goals. But they are tied now with the Vegas Golden Knights for tops in the NHL. The Wild have 6, and Flyers now have 7 with that one. So it's been a huge catalyst for this team. Torch has been talking about special teams having to kick in goals for a team that doesn't have a ton of offensive talent and has a hard time scoring. Well, not only you got a power play goal in the game, you got a shorthanded goal in the game, you got an empty netter, and you got an even strength goal in the game. You check all 4 boxes.
It's something that they were talking about earlier in the year when the Flyers were, when they were struggling with scoring goals at all, and they were giving up a lot of offensive chances the other way. They were getting a goal a game or so from their power play to try to keep them in it. And they do that here today, but now also getting this, in the shorthanded situations. I mean, there's been times in the last couple of years around here when, a shorthanded situation is almost a death sentence in terms of whether or not there's going to be a goal scored or not. That is not necessarily the case anymore for this team.
It was never going to be a goal for. It was likely going to be a goal against.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing coming the other way. So, that's certainly something to be a bit of I would say to be a bit of a surprise, contribution for how this team is coming together. Obviously, the coaching staff is, completely new with the exception of Darryl Williams, who was only here for a half a year in the first place. And so you've got new minds coming in doing new things, and they're whatever they're doing is kind of enabling guys to, do stuff like this.
One of the guys that has been here on the coaching staff, Kim Dillabaugh, I'm going to tell you after we get to these highlights why he deserves a game puck.
Yeah.
How about that? Stay
tuned
for that. Let's get to the BetRivers.com highlight reel. Let's get to the Flyers goals and this 4-2 win. The Kings opened the scoring on the power play. It was a 5-on-3 man advantage. Adrian Kempe opened the scoring. He picked up his 14th of the season. Flyers killed off the rest of the remaining penalty and eventually went on the power play themselves. And at 12:15, they evened the score when Scott Lawton on the man advantage wires one to put it past Jonathan Quick for his 8th goal of the season. Yeah, York and Tippett pick up the assist. Tippett with a real good play there to peel back to the wall, pull that coverage over, open it up a little further on that right side for Lawton, who gets the goal, ties the score at 1. Then at 13-12, just under a minute later, 57 seconds later, Philip Deneau gets in on the breakaway. 5-on-5 goal puts the Kings back up 2-1. So let's go to the second period. 9:02 into the second period. This is the even strength goal. We had the power play goal from Lawton in the first. Here's the 5-on-5 goal as Owen Tippett makes things happen and uses his biggest weapon, that shot, for his 12th of the season. Yeah, not a bad goal per games played pace there. One every other game. That's not bad, Smitty.
We'll take that. I mean, it's, again, looking for any offense right now. So if you can get yourself on a pace like that for a couple of weeks, that'd be good.
Yeah, and I thought that Tippett in the game, Bri, even though that was a beautiful goal that he scored and a goal scorer's goal, the way Van Riemsdyk moved there certainly helped. But I thought some of the plays that he made in the neutral zone and a few plays in the D zone were just as impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was another step for him, I think, overall. And, I believe that, when you have success in the things that people notice, like the goals and the assists and all that stuff, it just kind of helps breed success in some of the things the people don't notice, which is the back checking, the responsible defensive structure that John Tortorella talks about. I mean, there are not very many people in the mainstream that watch defensive structure. So when you have success in those other areas, it kind of bleeds over into everything else.
I think Torts looked at him and goes, seeing the way he skates and that big frame and how strong he is, and goes, man, if I can get this guy to the right spots and to buy in those other two zones with his offensive ability, he could be a really complete player. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see elements of that now in Owen Tippett's game and a lot more consistency as well. So 2-2 after 2. And here is where the game-winning goal happens. It's 13:01 into the third period. Flyers on the PK here. And we just talked about it, how much they've gotten done on the penalty kill of late, scoring goals. Got a couple against Toronto. They've been really doing an excellent job, not only killing penalties, but also creating offense out of it. And this time, it's Noah Cates who ends his drought, picks up his 4th of the season shorthanded. Yeah, and a huge goal. And really that goal happens, Bri, because of the traffic that's going to the net. And Patrick Brown got up on his horse and went there and he's got a big frame, took some eyes away from Quick, who once again defaulted low and high glove. It ends up beating him with a seeing eye dog shot. Yeah,
I mean, again, it takes some work necessarily to get back on the situation like, when he, I guess maybe a couple of feet past the blue line, the Flyers' defensive blue line. Actually, I guess he's even before it. He's not even out of the zone yet. Tony DeAngelo is back below the face-off dot on the right side, and he turns on the Jets, and he becomes a guy going to the back post. He's not involved directly in the goal, but he takes a defender with him for the LA Kings. And so that is part of why Noah Cates had so much time to, just deal with stuff at the at the point where he took the shot from, because there were 2 Flyers going with him. And the LA King who was checking Cates backed off of him because he detected, problems the other way. And that gave him enough time to do it. So without those guys jumping in like that, Cates, I know it's going to go down as an unassisted goal, but without those guys jumping in like that, he doesn't even get the shot off.
He's just chipping it deep.
Yeah, he gets stood up just inside the blue line at best. Yeah. So,
and yeah, that's the causation right there, the cause and effect of driving the net. Because you may not get a tip on a goal or anything like that, but you're providing space for your teammate. And you're right, he gets inside the blue line and he can stop there and assess. And when he does that, he sees Patrick Brown going, finds that spot and beats Quick, puts the Flyers up 3-2. They'd never relinquished the lead. And at 1933, so we have the power play goal, the 5-on-5 goal. You just heard the shorthanded goal. Here's the empty net goal. Travis Konechny, his 18th. Yeah, and Konechny gets the goal, his 18th. He continues his point streak as well. And Cates picks up an assist on that one, as does Scott Lawton. So multi-point performance from Scott Lawton, a goal and an assist, power play goal and assist on the empty netter. Noah Cates, the game-winning goal and an assist on the empty netter. You have also Cam York. Did he have two? No, he only had one assist in the game. I thought somebody else had a 2-point game as well, but I guess I'm wrong. But anyway. It's a 4-2. Yeah, Owen Tippett had a 2-point game because he assisted Lawton's goal.
I thought so too.
I knew there was another one in there. I just couldn't figure it out. But 4-2 final as the Flyers beat the Kings. Now, Brian said a member of the coaching staff should get a game puck after this one.
Yes.
And that member should be Kim Dillabaugh, the Flyers goaltending instructor. And here's why. Kim Dillabaugh spent many years in the Los Angeles Kings organization. Matter of fact, was a developmental goalie coach when Jonathan Quick was basically coming out of college at UMass Amherst and out of the ECHL in the development of Quick, and knows obviously the goaltender well. Now, anybody that knows me knows I love goaltending, and one of the guys that I've been a huge fan of is Jonathan Quick. So I've talked to Dilly quite a bit about Quick. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Quick does, he's not the biggest guy, but he's a croucher, gets really crouched, and he defaults low because he's very athletic and explosive in the way he can move on his knees. He defaults low even quicker than most goalies in the league, pardon the pun. And when you put traffic around him, that's what he does. The 3 goals, the Lawton power play goal, he defaults low, gets beat high glove, short side. The Owen Tippett goal, James Van Riemsdyk shades across, he defaults low, he gets beat high glove. Mm-hmm. The Noah Cates goal, Patrick Brown driving the net, takes his eyes away, he defaults low and gets beat up high. Don't think for 1 second that wasn't a part of the pre-scout today.
Yeah, I mean, I think there may be very few people out there that know Jonathan Quick better than Kim Dillabaugh. I don't know.
He may know him better than Jonathan Quick knows Jonathan Quick.
I mean, I don't know who's been working with the Kings as of late, but in terms of like what you said, developing him over the course of his younger career, and knowing what they've been trying to work with him on. Stuff like that, it's a very invaluable thing for a team to have when they can have a scout like that. So it's definitely something that you're right on track with that.
Yeah, Billy Ramford, former Edmonton Oilers goaltender, is their coach. Mm-hmm. He's actually the longest tenured goalie coach in the NHL, and Dilly worked under him. Okay. Which is why Dilly ended up in Philly when Hexie left L.A. and he brought him out here to be on this coaching staff with Dave Haxtell. So Dilly gets the game puck, and Dilly probably hates that I'm mentioning all this, but too bad, Dilly. Yeah, you did a good job. Let's take a timeout here on the post-game show. Flyers get the win over the L.A. Kings. We're back after this on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. All right, so we'll go quickie here on the backside and get it to Devon.
Why is my thing making noise?
Don't know.
There we go. That's fine. Where are you? When we get back, I've got shorthanded goal information.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
I don't know where you get all that crap. I don't want to know. But you always manage to get it when I bring it up.
I'm trying to be a little more difficult here and find the last time we had 7 through 37, but I don't know how to use this tool that I'm trying to use. No, I don't want to
just
combine.
downloaded, brother. Thank you. Cool. Just a couple minutes. Yeah, we'll get it to Devon pretty quickly.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. We only have 4 minutes left, so I'll give up on this, and I'll just fire off the last 11 years or so.
All right. We're back live as the Flyers come away with a 4-2 win over the Los Angeles Kings. Wrap up this, I guess we'll deem it a 5-game road trip for the Flyers. They'll wrap that up coming up Monday in Anaheim against the Ducks. We'll get to see Trevor Zegras and the Ducks, and that'll wrap up the trip, and they'll return home to Wells Fargo Center coming up on, Thursday against Arizona, and next Sunday they'll welcome the Toronto Maple Leafs to town.
Yeah.
So, some good ones in there.
The Sunday game's tripping me up. I keep thinking that's on Saturday. But, the schedule also gets a little more human for the Flyers in the early part of January. They've been in this, whatever it was, 21-game, 40-day stretch that'll wrap up basically Monday. And, they're going to have some actual time to work on some stuff in practice and things like that they haven't had most of the year. Back-to-back
wins for the first time since November 5th. When they beat Ottawa 2-1 on the road and beat St. Louis 5-1 at Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah.
That's the first time they've had back-to-back wins since then. They've won 3 of their last 5 games, and 4 of their last 7 games have the Flyers. So things moving in the right direction. I know that conflicts some people, because they see what Bedard's doing in World Juniors and 13 points and blah, blah, blah. And I know that conflicts some people, but accepting losing is an infection.
I mean, you don't want to get into that situation. You just want to have, I understand the sentiment, but as we've seen, finishing dead last in the league doesn't even guarantee you getting that pick. And the Flyers are just obviously it's not a great year, but they would have to really be bad to finish beyond Chicago, I think. And
you'd be rooting for your players like Konechny, like York, like Frost, like Tippett to fail.
Yeah. So I mean, we're talking about a draft here that obviously Bedard is there, but you've got maybe 3 or 4 other players, maybe even more, who in other years could be first overall picks. So it's not whatever they end up doing, it's not going to be an insignificant player that they get. But, at the same time, you do not want to, just toss in the towel completely. Again, the Flyers have 33 points after this win today. Chicago's got 20. So, again, the bottom would completely have to fall out to get that first overall ranking.
To get yourself up to an 18% chance.
Going into the draft. So it probably is not really feasible.
You have to get yourself all the way up to an 82% chance of not getting the first round pick.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's the way you have to look at it, though. So it's still even a long shot then. All right, let's wrap things up. Let's get Sixers basketball is coming up on our flagship station 97.5 The Fanatic. Devon Givens will lead you into that. Let's thank a few people before we get out of here, though. Let's start with our in-studio engineer, Mike Ito, working New Year's Eve. You can tell he's at the bottom of the totem pole like us. Matt Menarek was on highlights. He's at the bottom of the totem pole like us. They call him the Aces right before a big holiday like this.
Yeah.
So for Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers, a 4-2 win over the Los Angeles Kings on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Talk to everybody in 2023. Have a great night.